Back again. Can you believe it? Steve Miles here, Ryan Young there, and this show is just gaining momentum and getting so many new viewers every time we do a new episode. And Ryan and I actually are looking to take this on the road. So to any of you out there, we get great response from Australia and the UK and even, of course, the United States, Canada. If you would like Ryan and I to come to your theater or arena, and we would actually, how would we do that? We'd sit on
house.
We'd sit on the stage, I guess, and we would need to have us here, and then maybe something above us showing the magazine for
That's
the
right.
fans. Yeah,
and you know, it'd be nice to play us on like a nice piano player, like for the night.
That'd be really nice.
I'd like that.
That'd be really nice.
Little entrance.
Well, Ryan,
Music.
Here we go. We never know where we're going. I know you never know. Here we find September of 1997, WWF Magazine, Trouble in the Jungle. Is Sable looking to leave the wild man behind? Now, we know that happened.
Why would...
In more ways than one.
What was she thinking? And for what man could even measure up?
Now, you're a heterosexual man.
I am.
So, you know, think about this the best way you can. You're saying that you wouldn't find Mark Marrow attractive. As Johnny B. Bad. Think back to the Johnny B. Bad days, the flamboyancy.
I don't know that I wouldn't find him attractive. I don't find him attractive.
But Sable could have done better, is what you're saying.
I think so. Do you think so?
Well, she's married to Brock Lesnar now. So
she did. In my opinion, then she did do better.
Now, 1997, I may have said this before on here. 1997 is what I would consider to be my favorite year in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
ECW had their first pay-per-view in 97. Over in WCW, the NWO hasn't been running to the ground yet. That's still a really fun show. And the World Wrestling Federation, if you look at early 97 Raw and then late 97 Raw, it goes from, in my opinion, a pretty bad show to, by the end of the year, a really good show. It's a great show. So 1997 to me is my favorite year of pro wrestling.
But already I see something on the cover of this magazine that you're not going to like. And
an exclusive interview with Hunter Hearst Helmsley?
Yeah, I feel like the king, already the king of pain.
I've always kind of wondered why, when we get into 2000, as far as wrestling goes, did my interest kind of deteriorate. And then I started to think, the McMahon-Helmsley era.
Yeah.
Triple H was involved in like every segment back then. And it was just, I was never a big fan, but we'll take that as it happens. September of 97, Ryan. I always like to ask you when we start the magazine, what do you think of when you think of September of 97? We've just had, Steve Austin's just been dropped on his head at SummerSlam.
Oh.
Bret Hart and Undertaker had their match, and we're gearing up to Kane. Kane is going to be making an appearance here very shortly.
Oh, now wait a minute. Now, that leads to Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, well, this is September of 97. They had a match at Ground Zero, which was the pay-per-view that month. And the next month after that is the Cell with Kane.
That infamous Cell match.
So
this is hot. This is a good time. That sucks for Austin, though. But Austin's still on the show. Austin's still doing stuff.
Austin is on the show, but he's kind of taken more of a character base where he's doing a lot of talking and he's stunning people.
I love Stone Cold.
Yeah.
It's not a wrestling show without Stone Cold.
It's obvious by the bald head and the goatee,
and
which you keep as an homage to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
For life.
A lot of people have made notice of that. Now,
you know what? That's racist.
We're both speechless.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm sorry. We had to process it for a second. I just thought him laughing. You know. What do you think? This didn't last long.
This did not last very long.
No.
Ahmed Johnson, and the way I remember it is Ahmed Johnson was feuding with the Nation of Domination.
Right.
And then he joined the Nation of Domination, then he got kicked out of the Nation of Domination and was replaced by The Rock.
I remember that.
So was Ahmed Johnson being geared up, positioned to be the new Rock? We might be having Ahmed Johnson in Fast and Furious 8 or 9.
I think for a long time that's what they wanted. You could kind of feel it through 96 that they were trying to give Ahmed Johnson a lot of opportunities to take the ball and run with it, and he failed time after time. Fails, that's a harsh word. He didn't succeed. Vic Venom, is that Vince Russo?
That is his pen name, yes.
So all his articles are under Vic Venom?
Yeah, and also Vince Russo. He'll use both names.
I thought he did articles under his own name. Okay.
One of the things that I think always held Ahmed Johnson back is when he spoke, it was very difficult to understand him a lot of times. He didn't speak very well.
As opposed to like The Rock.
Who was very articulate, and
Right.
I always feel like that held him back in a lot of ways.
Do you know who has a good balance for being a black guy, but having sort of, I think having like an ethnic way of speaking that kind of relates to that culture, but also speaks clearly enough that everybody can understand? I think it's Booker T.
Booker T is a talented guy, and
Booker T does a good job.
a good talent.
Yeah.
And speaking of good talent, one of your all-time favorites, Tito Santana. Rookies to legends. No, nothing? Okay. Jerk. You've had a long-running feud with Tito Santana. I hope one day that gets resolved.
He just doesn't do good business.
It won't be today.
He just hasn't done good business with me.
It won't be today. These are the days of the DOA, the Disciples of Apocalypse, and we got to look at Crush on the motorcycle. And I remember back in the day you telling me about a segment with the DOA where you said that Crush said the Brotherhood slept together.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but
we eat together. We sleep together.
But I don't think that ever really happened. I think
absolutely it happened. Would I lie?
The Octagon Revisited. Look at this. Since joining the World Wrestling Federation, Ken Shamrock has bloodied and battered his way through his opponents, but now, during a match against Rockabilly, Dan Severn made his first appearance.
And see, I think Ken Shamrock, and I'm going to give Ken Shamrock a real compliment here, I think. An MMA fighter coming into the WWE, that's rarely going to work, I think. I don't think those two go hand in hand. With Ken Shamrock, I think he slid right into that role perfectly. Dan Severn, on the other hand, completely a fish out of water. I mean, had no business in WWE. It's not going to work for every guy.
I'm a big Dan Severn fan, but he did not get the showbiz entertainment aspect of pro wrestling like Ken Shamrock did.
Exactly.
It's just the way it
and
is.
I can't. It kind of is weird to me that Ken Shamrock ever left to go back to MMA, because I always thought he had a lot of. I thought WWE was a good spot for him. I thought he should have stayed. Maybe they didn't want him to stay. I don't know the situation, but I just felt like he was better suited for that.
I'm taking a look at this schedule here. August 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 30th. They were really running the shows.
Absolutely. I mean, not just the guys, like the wrestlers. Can you imagine, like, the production guys and, like, everybody that has to pack the trucks up and pack the ring up and set that arena? They have to go to arena every day and set it up.
Warwick, Rhode Island. That is where you famously, at a Hooters, threw up a, what was that drink called? The Vegas Car Bomb? You threw up in the parking lot?
Did I barf that night?
In the name of the father. This is Brian Christopher. Now you know who his father is, Jerry Lawler.
I thought that was British Bulldog.
And I am
I'm
a big fan of Brian Christopher. I always felt like he was very entertaining.
Really?
In Too Cool, in Too Much. I always felt like he was an entertaining guy. And I don't think he got the credit he deserved.
Yeah.
Ryan, your thoughts?
I was never a big fan. I know what you mean. He was always trying. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't a dog guy. I tell you that. He was not a dog guy.
Who is the real hitman, Bret Hart or Thomas Hearns? Thomas the Hitman Hearns was a boxer who had a lot of success. Who do you consider the real hitman?
Bret Hart.
I think Thomas Hitman Hearns might have had it first.
I don't care. I like Bret Hart.
Well, you know, Bret Hart got tackled during the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah, what happened to him? The Rastafarian.
Well, look here. Hunter Hearst Helmsley in China. They looks like they're in front of a castle.
All right. Now, if you had to pick one to sleep with. Now think about it.
Are they trying to make it look like Hunter Hearst Helmsley in China live in this castle?
It looks like they're not even allowed to be there. Like, they didn't even get close enough. That like it was like they didn't want to pay for the entrance fee to close enough to take the picture.
They didn't want to buy the. They didn't want to buy the.
What a joke!
By
the what? What the hell are you talking about? By the what?
They didn't want to buy the fee that you have to pay to film somewhere. The permit. They didn't want to buy the permit.
We've never paid for one of those.
No, we do things a little bit differently than the WWF do. I got to tell you, I'm sorry, and Triple H is. I think if you kind of look across the board, he's fine. He's not a terrible talent.
He's above average.
I've just never been a big fan of him, and I've never really been too entertained in much that he's done.
Yeah,
and now,
I dig it.
And now he's kind of running the show in a lot of ways.
I like Triple H, but I kind of agree with you. I think he's an above average talent, but I don't think he's top talent. I think he's put himself in a spot where he's able to have times been the top talent, but I don't know if he should have been.
This is a fun video because Stone Cold said so. Do you remember that?
That is a hoot.
That
The X video is good too. That came out around the same
There's
time.
A lot of fun
Those
videos around
fun packages.
What is this? This is the PlayStation game Steel Rain. Do you have any memory of that?
That looks boring. Just riding around in the sand in a tank.
Between the Rock and an Anvil. A look at the past, present, and future of Jim Neidhart.
What was the... So let's just say, for instance, that the present, which is not here, but the present would be the Hart Foundation. Well, I guess it would be the Hart Foundation, but I'm talking about the tag team, the Hart Foundation.
Okay.
What was his past and future? I mean, it really wasn't much for Jim Neidhart to do.
Well, you got to think. Bret Hart is still in the WWF at this time. He'll be gone very shortly.
Yep.
And then that famous episode of Monday Night Raw where he joins D-Generation X for one night.
Right.
And then they give him the low blow, which was basically just a big middle finger to Jim Neidhart.
Yep.
And he just had to take it.
Yep. Yeah, he put the baloney hat on.
But I remember thinking at that time, I wonder why Jim Neidhart agreed to that, because he looked like such a dope.
Did he have a thing afterwards? Did he come back?
I don't think so. He was in WCW for a while in like '98, right?
Yeah. He did. He looked awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like you said, he probably didn't have much of a choice that day. It was either that or go home.
Well, this is what he was doing at this time. He was kind of standing behind Bret Hart when he was in the wheelchair.
Make a check or go home.
Yeah. Wearing a shirt of the guy that he's managing.
See, that's how I am. There'd be a story about me. I was like, why did he even do that on television? He got humiliated. But I'm a company guy. I'll do what I'm told.
You will put the T-shirt on of the person that you're supposed to be supporting and stand behind them and crack a smile, and you don't.
I will.
You don't ask any questions.
But I want my check.
The Lion King roars back. What is Jerry Lawler upset about here?
He don't like that Goldust tried to grab his wiener.
No, I don't think that's it.
Isn't this back when Goldust was trying to grab everybody's wiener?
Jerry the King Lawler, the vicious ink man from New York, criticized Lawler for selling out the World Wrestling Federation officials. Oh, he's upset because Vic Venom has sold out to the World Wrestling Federation officials and lost his edge.
Who?
You've come a long way, baby, and something tells me you ain't finished yet. Now, see, this is written by Vince Russo, and we know that Vince Russo is a big fan of Sable.
Right.
Kathy Lee Gifford, move over.
Kathy Lee and Giff.
There's a new queen consuming the tabloids, and it's Sable.
Does he think Kathy Lee Gifford is two people?
No, I think at that point, Giff was what they called her husband, Frank Gifford.
Okay. Why has he got to move over? Because of Mark Marrow?
Because they're in the tabloids. It says, there's a new queen consuming the tabloids.
Man, look at... Turn that page again, please. Look at that.
Nice looking
That's a really
lady.
nice picture of her.
Do you
She's
remember?
never one of my favorites, but she's beautiful.
Do you remember the time that you and I met Sable? There's a picture of it somewhere.
Is that when you took a walk on the wild side?
Well, here we have the results of King of the Ring '97. Ahmed Johnson versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Jerry Lawler against Mankind.
Who did Jerry Lawler beat to advance in that tournament? Any memory of that? Because this is the King of the Ring where they only did 4 matches on the show, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Who did he defeat? Do you have
Does
any?
it say on here anywhere? I'm very curious who Jerry Lawler got a win over, because Jerry Lawler loses a lot.
I'm sure he probably had some nefarious means. Goldust versus Crush. That sounds like kind of a boring match.
It does.
Those sound like two guys that wouldn't gel well together in a match.
That's true. I don't remember a long feud between them.
That's probably why. And Ryan yawns again.
Ah, oh, I got those ticks.
Psycho Sid and the Legion of Doom versus the Heart Foundation.
Oh, I love those cards. You didn't cut them out of the magazine?
No, we still got them here.
I cut them right out of the magazine.
And where are they now?
In the trash.
Does this sound like a good match to you? Psycho Sid and the Legion of Doom versus the Heart Foundation.
Psycho Sid and the Legion of Doom versus the Heart Foundation. Yeah, that sounds fun. Not really. I don't know why I said that.
And this is the final. Mankind versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And this is what we have to thank for Triple H involved in everything now.
Yeah.
This moment.
It was a big deal. Well, he had that big castle. I mean, it makes sense. This was a good match.
There's Ryan's all-time favorite. You can tell with the bald head and the goatee. Ryan is a long-time fan of Stone Cold. Some people even called you Stone Cold Ryan Young at one point.
This was a tough one for me because
these
leading
are two
up
of
to
your
Stone
favorites.
Cold,
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was my absolute
So what did you do at this point?
I was all about Stone Cold at this point, but I still love Shawn Michaels. It wasn't like I stopped loving Shawn Michaels.
It sounds a little bit like you were
I was getting excited about
kicking Shawn Michaels to the curb.
I had a new toy. I think that's what Vince McMahon did too, right? I think that was the same thing, wasn't
Now,
it?
how about this? After all we've seen, ending the night with the Undertaker against Farouk.
That's brutal, man. But that's kind of like the match. That's like their main events now. Like every night is Undertaker versus Farouk for WWE shows now. There's Sonny. Now, Sonny. I've always liked Sonny. Always. Even now.
Well, you saw her adult film, I remember.
I did.
I couldn't bring my... I prefer to think of the Sonny in my memory to be the Sonny of 96 and 97, not the Sonny that you saw.
I agree, but also often I think of the fat queefing Sonny.
Now this is the Godwins, and this
So
is
you're
the
off track.
time when
There's
they
the fat
have...
queefing that Godwins.
Did you like Hillbilly Jim managing the Godwins?
No, I never liked Hillbilly Jim. There was never a moment, never a thought where I was like, oh great, oh man, Hillbilly Jim, isn't that nice?
Is the Honky Tonk Man attempting to set up Rockabilly in the Heartbreak Hotel?
I don't know what that means. That doesn't make any sense to me. I like the Honky Tonk Man though.
Well, I think they're trying to say that maybe the Honky Tonk Man has some nefarious means to put one over on Rockabilly.
I think Honky Tonk Man just wanted to get on TV. I think Honky Tonk Man was just trying to get that check. He was trying to get that paycheck for life.
That's a great jumpsuit. You got to admit that
It
looks
is.
great. Is that the one that's $10,000?
Might as well say so.
Yeah, it looks great.
I would never tell anyone that those jumpsuits cost any less than $10,000. I would tell them that everyone costs $10,000.
Well, I mean, you look at all this.
How's anyone going to know?
This jeweling here? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. The problem with something like that is you got to keep your weight at like what it is right when you have that made.
Honky had times where he had a bit of a stomach, but Honky always kept his weight down pretty good, I thought. I thought Honky could have ballooned up way worse than he ever did. I always thought I was going to see Honky Tonk Man, and he was going to be just like...
Well, what did Honky Tonk Man say you don't have in your bottle what I have?
I'm talking about Batista.
Oh, that's right.
Batista. I always remember this, like, poster for like Shotgun Saturday Night. I don't know why.
It's memorable.
Yeah, it's very memorable to me. It's the only memorable thing I remember the Headbangers ever doing.
I thought you met the Headbangers and like hung out with them one time.
And I don't even remember it. Wow. He still got that bandage on his face, huh? That low main looks good, though.
No. Now this is ground zero we were talking about.
Steve Austin can't even wrestle.
That's the bottom line.
They can't even wrestle.
What's he gonna do? That's the one where he stuns. Is it Jim Ross? He stunned somebody that night.
Why not Jim Ross?
Headbanging for the kids. The Headbangers look like they went to a charity event.
That's nice. Is there something wrong with those kids?
Well,
Or is it just kids?
this looks like some nuns here.
Like, can you tell if there's something wrong with that kid or not?
This event was for the construction of a new wing on the Hackensack Medical Center.
So these are like cancer kids.
Yeah.
They're begging for the kids.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question from Pin 'em Down, and you're going to have to answer it like the talent.
No problem.
Dear Bret Hart, Do you think you could ever become friends with Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Well,
Now wait a minute. Are you answering from Bret Hart present day or from the Bret Hart of the Hart Foundation?
I was doing Bret Hart right now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Do you think you could ever become friends with Steve
The
Austin?
honky tonk man's Bret Hart.
Do you think you could ever become friends with Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Steve was always he was a good guy to work with. He night off working with Steve. So absolutely, we could be friends. We don't talk much. He's not the kind of guy that I would maybe have a beer with, but we're good friends.
No, I'm sorry. He said, I expected a better question from a fellow Canadian.
Huh.
You have the same mentality of those sick American fans.
Give me another one.
All right. Dear Double J Jesse James.
Oh shit! I thought it was Jeff Jarrett. You screwed me. I'm already in Jeff Jarrett mode. Now I don't know what to do.
You just got to do a Road Dogg impression.
Now I don't know what to do.
Dear Double J Jesse James, who inspired you to enter the squared circle? Did your father or brothers have anything to do with your decision?
Nothing but I need the price to have a drink at night and have some. I don't want to talk bad about Road Dogg. There's nothing but bad things came to mind. You got me screwed up. I was going to do Jeff Jarrett. I was going to talk about his substance abuse problem. He's worked that out. There's no reason to go there.
The Skittles taste the rainbow.
I'm coming into business tonight. I'm doing Dusty Rhodes now. I don't even know what I'm even trying to do.
You know who the Road Dogg was?
Why can't I do a Road Dogg impression?
Oh, you didn't know? This is the dog. No, I'm doing the Junkyard Dog. That's my... I'm no better. All right, Ryan, September of 1997. What do you think of what we've seen, and what do you think of what happened?
That's a good show.
What's a good show?
Raw.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's all I had. Oh, Shotgun Saturday Night. What a great show.
Well, Superstars. Look at all these shows they've got going on here. Live Wire. You're saying that's a great show. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about WWF's programming in 1997.
They were really starting to turn the corner, I think, by late 97. That was a pretty fun one.
I watched not long ago. I watched kind of picking up from like beginning of '96 because I wanted to watch the transformation of when I thought that show was pretty bad to when it started getting good.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, it's like middle of '97. You could feel it. I mean, it's like things are turning. And then by the fall of '97, that's a good show.
Let's be honest here. The Raw of '96 and into '97 is not a good show.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either.
Owen Hart almost really screwed it up though by hurting Steve Austin.
He did.
That was really bad.
Why do you think he fell to a seated position instead of dropping to his knees in that tombstone?
I think he thought it would look good, and it did look good, but it didn't protect it. He didn't protect the guy. I thought it looked pretty cool, but he didn't protect the guy that he was working with.
Well, anything looks cool if you purposely hurt your opponent.
Do you think he did it on purpose? Do you think he hurt him on purpose? I don't think he hurt him on purpose. I think he did not do that move correctly.
Someone with Jeff Jarrett's history in the wrestling world should know that his head was maybe a little too low to
You said Jeff Jarrett?
I meant Owen Hart.
Oh,
It was a little too low.
What is you and Jeff Jarrett tonight?
You're the one that tried to do the Jeff Jarrett impression when I said Jesse James.
That wasn't even. It wasn't even a Jeff Jarrett impression. I feel like karma caught up with Owen Hart.
All right, Ryan. So take us out of here from September of '97. Do you have anything else to say?
Can I touch the magazine this time? I'm already doing it. I already got it. September of '97. Mark Marrow, Sable, Steve, Ryan. This is reading old wrestling magazines. See you next time.
And just a little something for our fans, maybe one more
I
time.
just closed that. I nailed that, and you're trying to biff it.
Jesse James.
Oh, you didn't know that I was coming to town tonight.
That's the Road Dogg. I don't think that's Double J Jesse James.
Oh, yes, it is. When he's wearing the.
My days working hard on the
Oh, you're talking about.
Hands on the ground, dreams of spinning dudes long, and I can't wait. Boy, your rhythm is bad.
Damn it.
I'm joking.
Make me be rhythm on TV. I hate it. Oh, man. What's my Arby's?